There we go. All
Hi.
right. Welcome. Well, this looks a lot better already. If you see
Yeah.
a weird figure in the background, it's Mike. He's taking video footage for the vlog.
Hi, Mike.
Oh boy. All right, everybody. Well, welcome to another episode of actually the first episode, I will say. I have the live stream on. I'm going to exit out of this. That way we don't have Kathy talking at a 5-second delay in the background. Um, Another episode of Let's Talk About Something Else. This time, actually functional. Look at that. Hooray!
Yay.
I'm going to go ahead and switch this banner up here. We'll go ahead and slap that up there.
Oh, that looks awesome.
All righty. So, I'm going to explain kind of what I have here, and then we can kind of dive into the questions. So, I decided that my meal for today was going to be from Pizza Bogo up in North Canton, which I know your family has experienced because I saw Chris there
Yeah.
not too long ago. Got a buffalo chicken pizza, their pizza rolls, and some garlic butter. I have my Leidenkugels here, my trusty summer shandy, and I am ready to go for the long haul.
Well, cheers to you.
All right.
Click.
Oh boy, what did you grab out of the fridge? Bud Light.
Yeah, Bud Light.
Nice.
Yeah.
Old Faithful.
Yeah.
All right. Well, why don't we'll give it a little bit of time, maybe some people will trickle in here, say hello, and then we can dive into our questions.
Awesome.
How was your Easter?
It was quiet. It was weird. I'm kind of used. Hi, Sue. I am kind of used to a lot more activity and certainly a lot more church. And it was really weird watching a little bit of church on TV and with a not so perfect video.
Yeah, I was telling some people this is probably the only time in my life that FaceTimed my family in order to watch church. Now, Sue is saying I'm a little bit quiet. Sue, I'm adjusting my audio levels here. Does that help at all? You can probably hear me chewing now. We got to be somewhere between you can hear me okay and you're listening to me chew my pizza rolls.
Your pizza.
Yeah. I'm running it through an audio setup that I used for recording, so
now we have.
She says
for
much
all
better.
Prosperity, you're chewing.
Yeah. So this is cool. This will be a kind of a sneak teaser here. I just interviewed a guy in Belgium, actually, he has his PhD in informatics and virology. And he's coming on the podcast. That episode will probably be released sometime next week. But he talked about like his involvement in using artificial intelligence in predicting antibodies for COVID. So that'll be our one little plug that, something that I did for today. And then the rest of this will be everything but COVID.
Well, we should take a drink every time the C word comes up.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm good with that. All right, Kathy, why don't you go ahead and kick us off with what our 3 questions are, and then we can kind of address each one of them in sequence here.
All right. Well, as we were talking about a minute ago, Easter is past, and the next best day to buy candy before Easter is the day after, and that's when the bargains happen. Now, honestly, I didn't buy any candy this year. I made homemade candy. I've been sort of in this homesteady mood. And so I didn't go out for any candy. So I don't even know what's out there right now, is if it's been, it's pretty gone through or if there's quite a bit left over. But my first question is, under normal circumstances, what is the one Easter candy that you want to stock up for now? Because this is the only time you get to see it, and it's kind of a treat.
That is and I actually had to kind of narrowed it down to 2 when I was thinking about this. I'm curious what your opinion on this. Mm-hmm. I despise Peeps.
Okay.
With a burning passion. I want to know what your opinion is on marshmallow Peeps.
They're fun in a campfire.
Just not for eating.
Um,
Oh man.
I've used them in recipes. I'm not a big fan of straight up marshmallow. So yeah, they are. I used to go camping a lot with my kids, and one of the things we just had to have was stale peeps to roast or burn. They're like napalm on a stick at that point.
Oh geez.
Kind of
Nothing,
dangerous.
nothing like eating napalm, right?
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, they catch on fire and you fling it and it just sticks to whatever it lands on and it's still burning. So,
Do they change colors or anything, or is
oh,
it?
they flame beautifully.
Oh really? I'll have to try that out next time. I know that like microwaving them is always a good time.
Yeah.
Um, so the one that I really kind of narrowed it down to, they're really just Reese cups. If I'm being completely honest,
Mm.
they're just I love the Reese eggs. That's really what I kind of stuck with. I also love like nerd rope and stuff like that, which I know is like around all the rest of the year too. But that was something that almost always showed up in my Easter baskets as a kid. So I like that one because I'm not a really big sweets guy. Like I don't
Mhm.
really like super sweet things. So the peanut buttery deliciousness of the Reese eggs are
Mhm.
just phenomenal. And then the nerd rope are probably the two that I would definitely go out and stock up on.
Well, I'm a big fan of the nerds myself. And have you ever had nerds jelly beans?
Nerds has jelly beans.
Oh my God.
What?
If you can find them. Oh my gosh, it's everything you want. It's
Oh
sweet
my
and
god.
sour and crunchy and
Yeah, I'm gonna
it's
have to keep an eye out for that now.
well, now that I know about that, if I find any, I'll get two. I sort of limit myself to one bag, and they're kind of like crack.
Yeah,
Um,
you just start eating it. It's like a Lay's bag of family chips. Next thing you
exactly.
know, you're sitting on the couch covered in chip dust. Like, what just happened?
I know. They don't put hardly any in those bags.
Yeah, you're paying for like 80% air. You open it up and it's
Exactly.
like, oh,
Yeah, and they're gone before you know it. So yeah, and I'm not a big fan of peanut butter at all, but that's what my family got this year is I made everybody peanut butter eggs. So they were just kind of like giant Buckeyes, but didn't go out and buy anything this year.
how did you mold those?
Like this.
Well, but like, so you just roll the peanut butter and then like walk me through the process of making a chocolate covered, like an egg
Okay,
style
well,
chocolate
actually,
thing.
I do have some candy molds, so I did cheat just a tiny bit. But basically, the inside of a Buckeye is peanut butter, sugar, and butter.
Mm-hmm.
And so I pressed that into an egg-shaped mold and put them in the freezer until they got good and cold, and then dipped them in melted Belgian chocolate because I had a giant Belgian chocolate bar here.
Ooh.
And so they were like really good. I'd bring you one, but my guys kind of took them all.
I don't blame them. I'm sure that they're delicious.
So yeah. So no, I'm
Let's see
big
here.
nerds jelly beans. Anybody out there
I,
talking to us yet?
yeah, Tracy said that she knows about Nerds jelly beans. She
Yeah.
commented that a couple of minutes ago. Sorry guys, I wasn't paying attention to the comments there for a second. Um, and then
Tracy's my spirit animal.
Jennifer D'Agostino's in here hanging out with us too.
Oh, cool. Hey,
She
Jen.
said, "Peeps in a campfire. Heck yes, been there. Burnt a friend."
I love this lady.
I gotta hear some more about that because any type of Jenny D story is phenomenal.
Oh my
They're
God.
always so like animated and detailed every time I hear a Jenny D story.
Yeah.
Actually, so I want to move on to the second one.
Which
'Cause
one? Which is the second one? You go ahead and ask because I don't necessarily have them in the same order you do.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just switch it over here. So, the second one that I have on this list here is if you could talk to animals like Dr. Doolittle, what one animal language would you most like to speak and or understand, and why? Right.
Oh yeah, that one.
I'll let you lead this one off because I'm gonna take a bite out
Oh,
of this pizza.
I don't know. I suppose that the most obvious one would be to be able to speak cat because I have two of them in my house and I'd love to know what they're up to and what they're thinking because they are so doggone expressive and they're fun. And I just assume that they just love me and everything I do and everything about me, but I would like to know what they're really, really thinking.
See, and I was thinking about that. I decided to pick an animal that doesn't live on my property
Hmm.
because I would be afraid of what they would say. And cats especially, because I feel like cats are kind of conniving. Like it's almost like they run the household and the humans are just living in it.
No, I'm pretty sure my kitty's going, "Oh, I love you and everything about you."
Really? Maybe it's just me then, because I don't know if cats just seem to sense that I'm like allergic and I'm not super fond of them, but they like look at me and they're like, he's arrived. And then they just disappear.
How are
So
we going to make his life miserable?
exactly. They're like, "Mwahahaha."
Well,
Let's
the
see here.
second one I would like to know is squirrels because I think it would just be funny.
I think out of all people, me and you could definitely bond with a squirrel. I think that we would have a great
My
time
brain
talking to
works the
squirrels.
same way.
Exactly. We'd be like, "Oh my god, what did you do today? Did you see that acorn shiny?" And it'd be all over. So
Exactly.
let's see here. Tracy says, "Cats, cats, cats," because they drive me crazy when I can't figure out what it is they want. And I've opened up like 10 different kinds of cat food trying to appease them. See, and that's where I'm saying cats run the household and
Well,
humans
some of
just
them are
live in it.
total assholes. Just
Oh,
not mine.
that's
Well,
fair.
no, one of my cats is.
I have met some pretty awesome felines in my
Mhm.
day. I know our barn cats are kick ass. They make sure that nobody gets into our grain and anything
They're
else.
working cats.
Oh yeah, yeah. They gotta. But the thing is that if you leave them out there, what I think is hilarious is that they'll collect whether it's mice or squirrels or whatever, and they'll just drop it off on the front porch for you. Like, look, Dad, this is what I did for you.
That's how they tell you they love it. Love
Yeah,
you. Yeah, I
yeah.
had a cat who used to bring mice and she would just leave their little heads in my slippers. Well,
Oh God.
I know. I only put my
Oh,
bare feet into slippers once.
oh, yeah, hell no. That is not a turn that I was expecting that to take. Mice head and slippers.
Oh, she loved me the best. She brought me,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, I don't know where the mice were coming in. No questions asked, but
How's it going, Corey? Welcome. So
hey,
Corey
Tori.
says she would like to talk to dogs.
Yeah,
You could talk to them all. I think that I would get along better with dogs. I
yeah.
think like if I were having a conversation with, I'm just like, everybody all knows like, um, analytical, like business person, hyperactive, kind of constantly moving yawn. But deep down, I'm just like a giant teddy bear that is just like, play. Like, will you like?
Oh, I
Can I
see a
lay on your
total
lap,
puppy
please?
there,
Yeah,
like a big Rottweiler puppy.
yeah. Or Beethoven,
Yeah.
just kind of standing there like, yes, this is awesome. Please rub my hair and let me sleep. That is that is the extent of my life. So I actually ended up picking a bald eagle, right? And it's not out of patriotism at all. Like,
Mhm.
um, when I there was a picture that I saw not too long ago that was like a bald eagle sitting next to a full-grown Arctic wolf.
Mhm.
And let me see if I can pull it up and kind of point it at the camera here so that people can have some context. But this picture was absolutely insane to me because the eagle was like overshadowing the wolf. Like it
Mm.
was bigger, right? And so I started looking up some statistics on them. Let me see here. Bald eagle and wolf. Um and they're huge. Like
Oh yeah, I've had a close encounter.
so like here's the picture I was thinking of. Um I mean that bird is just massive. And so like I was looking up the stats and stuff. A bald
Mhm.
eagle, they have like a 7.5 foot wingspan when they're full grown, and
Yeah,
can weigh up to like 14 to 18 pounds, live 20 years, and can like dive at 100 plus miles an hour.
and their talons are like this.
Absolutely insane. And so like my thought process was, firstly, I'd love to see the United States and the areas that they live in, like the mountainous regions and everything like that, from their point of view. I think that that would be beautiful.
Yeah,
You know,
even Ohio, where we have a lot of bald eagles in our area. Actually, out at Walburn, they have a nest watch you can watch online.
Mm-hmm.
And I was down at camp a couple years ago contemplating life. And that's where I go to really, when I really got to have a talking to God.
Right.
And the eagle landed right in front of me. And all I could think was, oh, you are so subtle.
Right.
And I felt that was my sign that there was time, it was time to do something else.
Yeah. I mean, that's like there's so many animals I think that really kind of have that impact on people when you think
Mhm.
about them, you know, and having a close encounter like that for sure
Yeah.
could be life changing.
That bird scared me and excited me and awed me all at the same time.
Yeah, and that's crazy how like those types of I think just nature in general, it's awesome how that type of encounter can kind of showcase
Lost you there.
just like how small you are. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I just lost you there.
Oh, like the video?
Yeah. I'm back.
Yoo-hoo. Okay.
Yeah, I'm back. Told you I
So,
was having laptop issues tonight.
um oh, Tracy. Hey, Mike, Corey Ramsey says hi. Just so you know.
Hey, Corey.
Mike says hi, Corey. He's in the other room right now, but he says hi. Um so yeah, I mean that's my logic. And then the other thing was like it what was it like for a bald eagle to be selected as the national bird? Because one of my favorite facts is that our national bird was almost a turkey, and like there's a lot of people that don't know that, surprisingly, that
Mhm.
we almost had turkey as our national bird. And like imagine what Thanksgiving would be like if it was reversed and we were eating bald eagle, not turkey for Thanksgiving.
Or if we
Or
stop electing turkeys for presidents.
yeah. Woo! No holds barred here on the
Hey,
live stream.
I'm not saying which presidents where.
Hey, there you go. Yeah. I'm gonna take another bite of pizza, just so you know.
Awesome. So we had a dog person and a cat person. Any other ones out there?
Oh, we'll see.
I can't see comments.
Oh, where are you? Oh, because you're on your iPad.
No, I'm on my laptop.
Oh, do you see the little column in the right-hand corner
Yeah, I see the
that
column.
says like comments, banners, brand, private chat?
Let me see what I got.
If you click on comments, you should be able to see what everybody's saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, because then I can like click on them. I can make them show up there like that. Like there's Tracy and Corey. I think we've had like between 4 and 7, which that's fine. I'm enjoying just drinking a beer and almost peeing myself laughing. This is better for me than it is. This is more for me than it is for anybody else. I've had a long day.
Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing behind let's talk about something else is, with everything so serious during the sea time.
Hey, you couldn't say it. I'm down to take another drink.
During the coronavirus thing, I said the word. I got to stop slapping my beer down. It's foamy. But, with everything so serious and people get so engrossed in the news and the latest and, is this the truth or isn't it? We got to lighten up and we just got to think about something else. It's not denying that this is a serious time, but it's just, it doesn't have to be serious all the time. It's not good for our mental health. It's not good for our physical health.
Agreed.
Oh my gosh. So it's good to laugh, people. You got to get out and do it. Think about something else. Think about something fun. Do something fun.
Yeah.
And come back next Tuesday at 7. We're going to do this again.
Exactly. And I am really trying to get this virtual margarita night set up for Zoom call.
Yeah.
I'm working with Glenn Worsler. I mean, I know you know Glenn, but for those of you that are on the stream that don't know who that is, Glenn is one of my compatriots down at the Innovation HQ, and he came up with a platform when all of this started going down for local restaurants to be able to migrate their menus easily to a web-based platform and do their takeout orders that way. So I'm trying to find a business that has partnered with him so that we can support that business along with supporting Glenn, that we can all just put out and say, hey, we're having this margarita night. Go to this restaurant. You get whatever. If you buy a certain amount of food, you get your margaritas for free, and then we'll all hang out on a Zoom call. So I'm hoping to get that scheduled for next week and see what happens. Because this kind of stuff, I mean, is just, I think it's actually it might bring in a new age as far as people realize, oh, we don't actually have to be in person to hang out and party with each other. I know that
Oh yeah.
there's like applications now. People are playing like virtual Cards Against Humanity and other stuff like that.
Oh, I so
Oh
want to
wait,
get in on that.
Glenn is in the live stream. I was just
Yeah.
talking about Glenn. Hey man, so she's got a Bud Light, and I have a Leidenkugel Summer Shandy. Tracy, cleaned out my recipe book. You know, the one with all the recipes you think you might make.
Ah, yeah, that'll keep you busy for a while.
Yes, I'm so glad that Glenn's in here, dude. I need to talk to you. I haven't talked to you in a minute, and I think I have some ideas for things that we could do. So after this is over, shoot me a text and let's schedule a time to connect.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I want to be on taco night, and margaritas and Cards Against Humanity would be be fun.
That would be dangerous.
No cards until the second round.
Right. Yeah. We'd have to make sure that there was nobody with a weak constitution in there, because I have a feeling that would go really south really fast.
Oh no, not with the people we know.
Yeah, for sure.
Don't choke on your food.
Yeah.
Glenn, what kind of animal would you talk to if you could talk to an animal?
Yeah, we'll give him a chance to respond to that. It'll give me a chance to take another bite of pizza.
Hey there, Glenn.
Okay.
So, Jen, are you still here? Have you picked an animal?
And he says he has a restaurant he's working with. Cool.
Coolio.
Wonder if Jenny D's still hanging out. I'd like to know what animal she'd like to talk to.
She would sing to it.
Yeah, that's probably true too.
Yes.
Okay.
Jen's a lot of fun. I've actually had the privilege of singing in the
still here.
Who do you want to talk to, Jen? What animal?
Glenn says a chipmunk, maybe.
This is why I love this guy.
All right, I gotta know why a chipmunk. You gotta explain that just a little bit, and then we'll see what Jenny D says. Let's see here. Henry was awake when you asked, and he said a lizard because they're so small and cute. I love that little kid.
Yeah.
Henry's probably one of the cutest little munchkins I've ever encountered.
Now they're a fun family.
I love, like, when I had more time, I was able to go over there in the evenings, and I would either, like, Michael would whip up some espresso and some coffee, we just sit there and BS, and he loves craft beers.
Yes,
and
he makes a good beer.
Yes. And so I would go over there and, like, some of my favorite beers, he actually pointed me to. Like, there's one from, I think it's called Wild Ohio or something like that. That's like a tea beer that is specifically from because Michael pointed it out to me. And for those of you that are listening that don't know who that is, that's Jennifer D'Agostino's husband. He's also a beast of a singer and pianist.
Yeah, I get to sing with him every Sunday except the last several weeks because of, coronavirus.
Oh, you go to St. Paul's in North Canton?
I do.
Nice. My family's really good friends with Marian Babiak, just because of
I love
Slovakia.
him.
So he comes over all the time when my mom cooks. Like it's almost like he has a sixth sense for when my mother is making Slovak food. And he'll text her and be like, "Hey, like, can I come over for dinner tonight and hang out?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm making chicken paprikash. How did you know?"
Oh, I gotta be.
I'm like, that's ironic timing. And then, okay, here, Glenn said, just because there are so many of them running around.
Oh, they'd be fun, though.
Yeah. I wonder if there's, like, an underground chipmunk army that just is, like, because like he said, there's a whole bunch of them running around. If they have any type of, like, I don't know, herd mentality that, like, a whole bunch of chipmunks all hang out, because I don't know what they do in those tunnels. Maybe they have, like, a giant chipmunk family party zone down there that they all hang out. I'm diving down way too deep of a chipmunk hole here. Let's hear. And Jenny D says that there's beer in a secondary fermenter, which means that we should have beer soon. That's what we should do. We should
come over and sing or talk or something, Jen.
We should We should have her put some of their beer out on the front porch. We can go pick it up and then we can drink it on the next live stream.
Awesome.
All right, so let's move on to the third one here.
Okay.
Let's see.
Well,
do you want me to do this one or you want to do
it? Sure, hit it.
All right. So we got, what job would you not do no matter how much it paid? I ended up picking, I went back and I was watching some like YouTube videos of Mike Rowe because I figured what better place to find a job that I would never do than dirty jobs. Yeah. And this one isn't necessarily dirty. I just think that is like super unnecessarily risky. Which is kind of against my personality type because I normally like doing kind of risky things. But I guess I'm a calculated risk taker, and this one just made no sense to me. It's a shark suit tester. So, like, there was literally an episode where this guy put on, like, some chainmail, I don't know, some type of carbon fiber material, got into a shark tank, and then they poured a bunch of blood in the water and waited until one of the sharks bit him. Like, and that was his job, was to test and figure out whether or not that chainmail would stop the shark from killing him. And I'm like, no, I'm good. I like, maybe if I was inside of the cage or something, you know, I could test a shark cage. Even then, I think that's sketchy. Like, that's just not something that I would do.
Yeah, that's a big nope.
Okay, Slovak. Ever heard of Kapushanitsky? So, I'm not sure. I mean, Kapushan, I guess, is a castle in Slovakia. I'm wondering if it's like a piroshki, like a pierogi roll. I need a little bit more context there, Tracy. And then her follow-up to this question is breeding spiders. There's spider breeders? I guess that's a job that I would never really expect.
Well, they wouldn't bother me so much as long as they were in their little, you know,
what are
boxes.
You breeding spiders for, though?
Well, you know,
I don't. Silk or something? I'm gonna Google this because this is intriguing.
I don't know. For me, it was climbing towers. I have a friend who that's his job. He climbs towers, like during storms and stuff. And since I'm afraid of heights, that's not such an appealing thing. But as you were talking about the shark's suit tester and all that, I was thinking, who's the guy who gets to determine if cat food is 25% tastier? Have you ever thought about who tastes it to say, wow, that's like way better?
Right. Yeah, or like, do they do like a blind test with kitties and figure out like which one they're picking?
You have to ask the cats, and since we've already established that nobody can talk to the animals.
I guess spider farming is partially for silk. Some of them do it for silk farming, but then other ones do it for like tarantulas and pet spiders and stuff like that. So that makes sense.
I wonder if they do it for venom too.
Yeah, that's true. I know that I'm about to interview a guy that his name's Tim. No, his last name's escaping me. But he has injected himself with snake venom like for the last 20 years and has been using his blood as a way to try to come up with a universal anti-venom for snakes. So he's been like injecting himself with low doses of neurochemical like blockers from snake venom to try to get his body to form antibodies to the individual venoms. And like one of the stories that he sent me in his little bio was that he actually accidentally got bit by one of the snakes that he was farming. And he like looked at his wife and he was like, all right, in 15 minutes, if I start foaming at the mouth, you need to rush me to the hospital.
Oh no.
And he was like, but I'm going to see what happens. And he hadn't injected himself with venom in like a month or something. He said he passed out once, woke up and he was fine. But then that's when he realized that like his body had learned how to fight off the venom. So he's working on a project right now to essentially figure out a way to they're specifically targeting military members, but to
Mm-hmm.
like give them a vaccination that essentially makes them immune to snake venom.
Ugh.
Absolutely insane.
There's
Jesus.
some crazy people out there.
Yeah, no joke. I was like, man, like that is I don't it's sadistic, I don't know, masochistic, something like that, but
Yeah, make some of the jobs I've had in my life sound pretty tame.
yeah, I'm good. Like my Burger King drive-through job that I hated oh so much. I'll uh I'll take that all day every day outside of injecting myself with snake venom. Um wait, so were we talking about no, you talked about not climbing towers. That's what
No,
that's what your job that you would never do was.
no, no. I get pretty shaky up there. I am afraid of heights unless I feel perfectly safe. Now, I have a friend that I hike with, and last year we climbed a big fire tower in a park, and I was a-okay because I felt perfectly safe the whole time. But I did not realize until we were there that she was desperately afraid of heights
Oh boy.
because I had never challenged her to go up that high before. And yeah, it was an interesting afternoon.
Let's see what Jenny's
That.
got here. I really only like what I do, so it's hard to think about doing anything else. But a bat handler. I have a couple of stories there, but one is long, and the other one would make my mom mad at me for sharing in a public forum. All right,
Is your
so
mom on
yeah,
Facebook, Jen?
yeah. First, that's something that you could definitely private message me and Kathy because that sounds like it's a story worth hearing.
Absolutely.
Oh man. All right. Let's see
Not a
what we got
huge
here.
fan of bats myself, but again, it's only when they surprise me. I don't mind them if I'm expecting them, but when they fly up at you out of your chimney and
When are
are flying around your head, let me tell you, there's some screaming going on.
when are you expecting bats, Kathy?
Well, like if I'm at a nature center and they
Mm,
say, "Here, hold this bat," I'll be the one that puts my hands out.
gotcha. Gotcha.
But when you don't expect them, and I like watching them, they're pretty cool up there
Mm, here we
when
go.
they come out at night.
Let's see here. So this is that explanation of that word there. Dried sauerkraut rolled in a dough sheet, which is baked and layered between sautéed caramelized onions. Old family recipe brought from the old country, which nobody has ever heard of. So there's actually something very similar to that, Tracy, that my family makes, but it's not my mom's side. So for a little bit of background on, I guess, my heritage here, we'll get a little lesson on Jan here. Um, my mom and dad are actually both of Slovak descent. So my
Mhm.
mom immigrated here in the 90s, but my dad's family is actually from one region over from where my mom lives called Spiš. So my mom is from an area called Košice or Sade na Turisu, and it's more like eastern Slovakia. No,
Mhm.
western Slovakia. If you go a little further east, there's this mountainous region called Spiš, and my dad's family from over there, they actually live right underneath this beautiful castle.
Oh, you froze up on me, Jan.
All right, guys, hold on. Boop. Okay, there she is. Sorry.
We froze
This
up.
this Wi, yeah, this Wi-Fi times out like every 45 minutes or something like that, which basically means that we've been having a good conversation for the last half hour.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this like Spišský hrad, right? So my family that lives in that mountainous region, they do a it's almost like a casserole, but it's not quite a casserole, but it's thin sheets of like a flaky dough layered with sauerkraut in between it, and then you cut it almost like I guess the closest thing is almost like a baklava,
Like a
but with
savory baklava.
yeah, but with sauerkraut. So that's
Mm.
the closest thing that I can think of, um, as far as that goes. And I mean, and that's, let me see what she called it. And that's why it's ironic that her recipe is called Kapushaniki or whatever, however she spelled that or pronounces it, because Kapushan is another castle in Slovakia. So I'm wondering if it's like somewhat of the same recipe, just from two different mountainous regions in Slovakia. You know what I
Could
mean?
be.
But either way, the stuff that they make is phenomenal. So I'm sure that anything that's like some type of dough combined with sauerkraut and onions is amazing. Because I mean that's just me.
Tracy, I wouldn't get mad if you made some of that next time we get together.
Yeah, I would not be either. You know, if I get an invite to that.
Sure. I was looking at I always feel very strongly about Father Marian, and I was looking up a Slovakian Easter recipe, and I saw this Easter cheese recipe, and I didn't get around to making it. Have you ever had that? It has eggs and cream and all this, and it's supposedly made just for Easter.
What are you asking? Are you asking me or Tracy?
Yeah, anybody. Slovakian eaters.
Oh yeah, go ahead, repeat it, because I was kind of reading Tracy's comments there. I wasn't paying attention.
It's called Easter cheese, and it's got eggs and cream and stuff. It's supposed to
Talk about Sedek?
Yeah, I think that was what it's called.
Hold on 1 second.
We should make Jan's mom do a little cooking class for us. Oh, he's coming back with some Sedek. There it is. Cool.
I got Sedek. Luckily, I had a little care package dropped off by my family after I had to FaceTime them for Mass. So I was like FaceTiming them to watch Mass on TV, and my mom felt bad because they had a bunch of Easter bread and Sedek and everything else. So she brought me up poppy seed rolls. She brought me up some nut roll and some Sedek and some kobasi for my breakfast in the morning.
And we decided your mama could maybe do a little cooking class. We need to meet her.
Yeah, what I think is funny about that situation with like my mother and cooking, ironically, and my dad never admits to this to like anybody else because he loves, letting people have the facade that my mom like learned all of these recipes and stuff. But my dad is actually the one that has the cookbook from my great grandmother that immigrated here. And like knew all of these recipes for like halushki, how to make homemade pierogi, how to make like the kobasi the correct way, sour soup, sour mushroom soup. And so my mom, she will like openly admit that she learned a lot of the traditional Slovak recipes when she moved to America and married my dad.
Cool.
Yeah, so having both of them together on a cooking show would be awesome. I could definitely set up a little live stream camera in the kitchen and have them walk through how to make like pigs in a blanket and other stuff like that.
That would be so much fun. I'm a bit of a foodie myself, and that could be a whole nother show.
I didn't know that pigs in a blanket was to like Americans was the hot dogs and a crescent roll. Like I feel like that's almost blasphemy.
Yeah.
Like,
but I know what you're talking about. More like a stuffed cabbage.
Yeah, stuffed cabbage. That's what we always but like we would always call it prasa and perinu, which is pigs in a blanket. So I always thought that was odd. Like when I first said pigs in a blanket and people were like, "Oh yeah, this is what we're expecting." And I showed up with sauerkraut covered cabbage rolls. They were like, "What the hell?"
It was way better, trust me.
Oh, it's amazing. Tracy maybe we'll just adopt all of everybody. We can have after all of this is over, we'll just have a big Slovak party.
Oh yeah. That would be fun.
At the house.
It would be so much fun.
Oh yeah.
So does anyone have any ideas on other things? I mean, I could talk about food all night. Like I said, I'm a bit of a foodie, and I just love learning about other people cultures' food. But
well, I'm curious too, like for when we have our conversation next week. I mean, we have a list of questions and stuff, but is there anything that you want to hear I'll say vivacious. That'll be my word. Our vivacious personalities analyze next week while we're drinking our beer of the week and
I
avoiding.
promise I'll get something a little bit more exciting than Bud Light.
I'll have to try to hunt down some of those craft beers,
Mm,
or either that, or we'll see how much longer Jenny D's beer has to ferment before she can set it out on the patio for pickup.
exactly.
I'm gonna take another bite of this pizza roll.
Mm. So next week at Tuesday at 7, tell your friends. We're going to have some other questions. And I don't have those in front of me right this minute, but
It's okay, I do.
Oh, you do?
Mm-hmm. I have a little dual screen display here.
Awesome. And every single day on my Facebook stream and Connect Life, which is my coaching practice page, I have let's talk about something else and just join us in the stream. I've seen some of these names in my discussions, but come out and hope to see you next week when we talk about.
All right. Here we go. So, April 21st at 7 p.m., we are going to talk about what is something weird that you do that other people think you're crazy for doing. That one should be interesting. That one should be interesting.
I don't do anything weird.
Are we keeping this? Is this like PG or? I think we crossed the PG line a couple of times.
PG-17 maybe.
We can at least do PG-13 or PG-17. Yeah. What weird food combination do you enjoy? And then, what is one weird thing that you don't like that everyone else seems to enjoy?
So apparently I was on a weird kick.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be so. We'll have a weird conversation next week. Hey, so Tracy says, "Ooh, vocabulary lessons." So I think she's probably talking about vivacious.
Mm-hmm.
So that word actually, Tracy, means attractively lively or animated. I believe is the definition of vivacious. I'm sure that somebody will be able to correct me. Actually, you know what? I could just Google it to make sure that I'm saying that right. So, fun fact, since my mom didn't speak English as a primary language, she was like super paranoid that we wouldn't have a good vocabulary as kids. So I got to do a whole lot of extra vocabulary assignments because I was homeschooled and she could do that because I couldn't escape school because it was my house. Just
all the kids get to experience what you did.
Yeah, exactly. I always used to mess with people and I'd be like, yeah, my parents kept me locked up in the basement until I was 13 years old. And then they like, what?
That explains a lot, Jan.
Easy killer. And then Jenny says that it's mostly Michael's beer. She just entertains the kids while he's crafting. Well, then tell Michael that to let me know how long it's going to take to ferment, and then we'll give you guys a shout out the next time we're on here and drink some of his beer. It depends on what it is, though. I want to know if it's like a stout, a porter, or an ale, depending. Because I know that he would appreciate that and understand like the depth of the ingredients. I could do a little analysis when I have it on here. Okay, yeah. So it looks like we're going to do a weird kick next week.
Let's get weird together. In a PG kind of way.
I know. Corey says maybe your favorite places that you've been or want to go.
Oh my gosh. I could talk travel for a long time. I've been a lot of places.
Why don't you come up with a set of 3 that that surrounds kind of traveling?
Travel questions.
That would be a cool segment.
Mm-hmm.
Jenny says, I forget what it was, but he gets really intense about it. I'm sure. I'd like when Mike turns it on, he's like, he definitely could be like, he's really intense about coffee. Mm-hmm. Have you ever talked to him about coffee?
Oh yeah. I've had his coffee.
Oh my Lord. Like this is a perfect opportunity to do a little plug for Whole Latte Love. But so if you don't know what Whole Latte Love is, it's actually going to be a coffee shop here locally in North Canton, founded by Beth Humbert. And you're actually like looking at 2 of the board members here. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's actually how I first really met Kathy, was
Yeah.
at a volunteer meeting for Whole Latte Love. But it's going to be staffed fully by developmentally disabled
It'll be a training
individuals in our
center
community.
for that population. It's going to
Yeah.
be awesome.
I am so excited for that. There's actually a campaign right now, if you know anybody, the people that are listening, to do a rent for a month of
Hmm.
the facility. So if you know anybody that's interested in that kind of stuff, you can have them get in contact with me or Kathy, and we can tell them how they can support that awesome organization. But regardless, I was thinking about Michael when we were down at Cherry Blend, as far as tasting all the different types of coffee and everything.
Hmm.
I mean, as high octane as Terry and Peggy are down there, I think that
They
Michael.
do enjoy their product.
Oh yeah, Michael would have a blast. And actually, Jenny, if you tell him about this, tell him to look up Cherry Blend Coffee Roasters. They're local, and they have a bunch of different types of beans and blends. They roast them within a couple of days of sale. They sell whole beans that they are like freshly roasted. And I'm interested for him to go down and potentially try a couple of bags and let me know what he thinks. My favorite one specifically is their espresso blend, and it's phenomenally. It is a great coffee. They have like Guatemalan, they have Brazilian, they have a whole bunch of different stuff down there. Um, awesome place to go, and that's actually who's
Yeah,
going to be supplying the coffee for Whole Latte Love. So
absolutely.
it's all
And
going to be
when
local.
things get back to normal, they do Saturday morning coffee tastings. It's a fun morning. You just gotta listen quick to keep up.
Jen says he looked at the pictures when you posted when I was there. He was zooming in on the pictures. Well, I'll tell you what, Jen, after we hop off this live stream, I'll shoot you a link over to where their website is so he can take a better look at it without creeping on my Instagram. Oh, man. All right, so we'll, Corey, for you, we will make sure that we put together a list of questions for
Travel related.
Travel related.
And she
I
also
like those
said
ones.
coffee. We could talk about coffee.
Yeah, that would be a good set.
I could even link the two. I had the best cup of coffee when I was in Paris, and I could tell you what that was like.
Ooh, I would have to say that my best cup of coffee is probably in Florence, Italy.
Mm,
That's probably my favorite
I'm
cup of
going to
coffee.
Florence in October, I hope.
That would be awesome. I love it. I will have to send you some restaurants. So there's a gentleman named Danilo Mori, and Jen, I guarantee Jen's gonna throw a comment in about this because Danilo's awesome. But he was the travel director for Walsh for a while, and when I networked him with him when I was in Italy, and obviously with Walsh, and then I went back with the military, and so we actually got sent on a, like, we call it a TDY, so it's like a temporary deployment. We were in Aviano, Italy, which is right next to Venice, for a month.
Mm.
And we got one weekend free that we were able to travel down to Rome and come back up. And I called Danilo because I was like, out of all people that would know where I should go and like what restaurants I should stop by, and because they essentially, all of the people in the unit, I like nominated me to be the tour guide because I speak a little bit of Italian to be dangerous. And I knew the area because I had been to Italy twice prior. So I called Danilo up, and there's some restaurants in Florence that you definitely need to hit up. They have a really, really good chicken liver pate
Ooh.
that I was like, I ordered it because Danilo told me to. And I was like, okay, you know what? Like, as much as I don't really want to try this, I'm going to give it a shot because Danilo said so. I ate the whole plate. Like, there was 8 of them on there, and everybody else in my unit was like, oh my God, chicken liver. I'm not going to eat that. It was delicious, and I am super glad I didn't have to share. So if you go, I also have a good recommendation for an Airbnb. So we definitely need to touch base if you're headed over there.
Awesome.
Yep, there it is. See, Jenny says hashtag Danilo rocks. Love that guy.
Awesome.
He really does know everybody. It's actually kind of creepy.
Well, I haven't met him yet, but I will.
Yes. Yes, you definitely need to touch base with him. Let's see here. Tracy says her best cup of coffee was in Maui.
Marco's.
We need t-shirts. I ordered this because Danilo told me to.
That
Oh,
was one part of my Walsh experience. I was a non-traditional student, so we didn't get the Italian experience, and I was like most bummed.
yeah. That would be a good shirt because there's definitely, when it comes to food recommendations or lodging recommendations, he is definitely the man, the myth, the legend when it comes to Italy.
Awesome.
Cool. So we'll have like best cups of coffee. We'll have some travel questions set up, and then next week for sure it'll be
We're going to talk
some
some weirdness.
weirdness. And then actually, I mean, I don't know if we've secured this quite yet, so I'll let you, I mean, talk about it. But I'm pretty sure that we're going to be able to do some giveaways on here in the next couple of live streams.
I'm playing some phone tag with my friend, but tonight I'm offering up to everybody in our stream that made a comment a $10 soul pie pizza card. So,
Ooh.
yeah.
Well, do you want me to input names into a randomizer and then do a drawing?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Let me pull up a randomizer here then. Randomizer. All right, list randomizer and selector. There we go. All right, and just give me a second. You'll have to keep the audience occupied while I focus on one thing at a time because my brain can only handle one thing at a time.
Oh, I've seen it handle like 5. You know, that's that squirrel thing again.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. So we have.
What's really random is how we seem to know the same people. And
yeah, no, like everywhere I go.
3 months ago.
Yeah. Yeah, everywhere I go, we seem to know the same people. I was just talking to oh crap, what's his name? I can never remember his last name. It's Mike S. Mike.
Heard of it?
Yeah.
I love him.
I was just talking to him on the phone the other day, and he was like, "Hey, I see that you know Kathy," and I was like, "Who doesn't know Kathy?" And then I aspire to be that recognizable someday. Let's see here.
Keep on hanging.
Tracy's like, now I'm all hungry.
Doggone it.
All right, random selector. Okay, so who do we have? We've got Jenny D.
We got Corey. We got
Corey.
Tracy. We got Glenn.
Okay,
Not so many tonight, but Glenn, it's been fun.
Tracy. Hey, that just means that they have a higher chance of winning, right?
Absolutely.
Corey. Maybe Tracy will win the gift card and she can not be hungry anymore.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Susan.
Oh, Sue, yeah.
Susan. Boop, boop, boop. Comma. And I think that was it for right now. Susan, Glenn, Tracy, Jen, Corey. And
the winner is?
Let's see here. And pick a random item. Jennifer D'Agostino. All right, Jenny D. Well, it looks like you have got a $10 Soul Pie gift card coming your way, and we can.
Right. PM me your address. I know where your house is, but I don't know how to send it to you. I'll pop that in the mail.
That is exactly how I am. I mean, obviously not storing people's addresses in your brain is a little bit much, but I'm all location. Like we had to go. I forget where we were driving not too long ago. She says booyah.
Oh yeah.
I forget where I was driving, but it was with Eversole. Who, for those of you that don't know, Mike Eversole is my clothing partner. He does Envision Clothing Company, and he does all of Apex's hoodies and shirts and everything like that. But we were driving somewhere, and we had only driven there once prior, and I was the passenger in the vehicle the last time that we had gone there. And so I'm driving, and he, like, halfway through the drive realizes that I'm not using GPS, and he was like, wait a second. He was like, are you driving this by memory? And I was like, yeah, like we have already been here once. And he was like, yeah, one time. And you were on the passenger seat on your laptop with your phone as a hotspot. And he was like, and you remember how to get there? And I was just, it's just like the locational sense of direction that if like once you kind of, I like drop the pin in my brain, I can kind of like, what is it? Hansel and Gretel? Are they the ones that left breadcrumbs?
Yes.
Yeah, I kind of follow the breadcrumb trail back to wherever I came from. But, all right, let's see here. Where's my title thingy? Hold on. Hashtag. Let's talk about else. There we go. There's my little boom. All right, guys. Well, this has been an awesome first rendition, technically second, but first actual one of hashtag Let's Talk About Something Else. We hope to see you guys back next Tuesday at 7 p.m. to listen to our shenanigans. I will make sure that I have a new local restaurant's food to eat. She will make sure that she has something more creative than Bud Light. And we'll have another chance to potentially win a gift card to a local restaurant.
All right. Well, thank you for coming tonight, and tell your friends. Let's talk about something else.
Amen.
Good night.
Hallelujah. See ya.